Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Ready Speaker. I am your host, Roland LaRucci. We're doing another film review today, and the film today is Women Talking. So that's actually a 2022 film based on a book, based on real incidents about a Mennonite community out in Bolivia, an ultra-conservative community, and it's where women are sexually assaulted in their sleep. And the real story was that the men used, cow tranquilizers, some sort of farm animal tranquilizer, to put the women to sleep, and they would sexually abuse them while they're sleeping, and they would dismiss it when the women would wake up with all this sort of trauma to them. So an uncomfortable topic, a very uncomfortable topic, and something that may be a hard watch for some people. But I will say this, for this film, and it's directed by Sarah Polley. Writer is Sarah Polley, Miriam Toes, and it's got a really, really good solid cast. It's probably one of the best films I've seen in a long time. The acting was amazing. The color grading, the palette, which I'll talk about a lot on these films, is the palette of the film is really, really something to look at, and the color grading, the lighting, the set. The bulk of the film happens in a hayloft where the women discuss what are their options after it's found out that these men were doing this to them and dismissing their concerns, saying that it was Satan, saying that they were delusional. Really taking the way women are treated to the extreme of not being able to learn how to read, not allowed to learn how to read and write, making them literally just tools, another tool for the men to use, or things, and that's it. And the trauma they experience is really, really, really moving. The cast is Rooney Mara, Clara Foy, Jessica Buckley, Frances McDormand, Judith Ivey, Emily Mitchell, Kate Hallett, Liv McNeil, Sheila McCarthy, Michelle McLeod. There's only two men. Ben Whishaw is in this, and Will Bowes. There's only two men, I think, that have real parts in this. August Winter is another actor. Nathaniel McParland. It's an amazing cast, amazing ensemble. I definitely think it's a worthwhile film to watch. Just get that right off the bat. So thumbs up for that. It's so dynamic. It's very much like 12 Angry Men, which is a movie I revisit constantly. How everything happens in this one space, and it's dialogue. And I know the rule of film is show, don't tell, or don't talk about it, just show it. And this is a movie that sort of shies away from that. Again, like 12 Angry Men, where they just discuss their feelings, discuss where they are, they discuss their history, and they discuss the weight of the issue, be it one direction or the other, be it to choose to stay, and that's the discussion. Should they leave? Should they fight? Should they accept their lot in life? They are very faith-driven. That is a big core about who they are, how they identify themselves as people who want to go into the kingdom of heaven. And they think if they break these rules, they might not get into the kingdom. And that's also something that's used, in all sorts of environments of people suffer now because later on it'll be better for you. And I think that's done really, really well with this. It says a lot. And they do have flashbacks. They do have some outside of the hayloft scenes. Beautifully shot, gives you a slice of life. And that's actually how I think that, for me, it's how the characters, when they're speaking, and we cut to these flashbacks, it's what brought them to their mental state at that time. And it's showing some bad things, showing some good things, showing some things they may miss, showing some things they won't miss. And I think that's really, really powerful stuff. It's some of the best storytelling I've really, really seen. And the ensemble cast, there's nuances to what they're doing. Each character is unique, and it's not just wallpaper in the background and it's just one lead. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of weight to what they're saying. And I think it's one of the most powerful films of the year. And it's based on real events. So you have films that came out that I really enjoyed this year. The Whale, a theater production turned into to turn into a film. Triangle of Sadness, The Menu. These are really, really, really great films. Even Cocaine Bear was a great film, I think. This, because of the topic, because of the subject matter, because of how it's discussed and how it's delivered, I think it's wildly successful. It didn't get the buzz, didn't get the backing of some of the bigger films out there, but I will tell you, you will sit through this and just be mesmerized by the delivery of the lines. It's so eloquently written that, I mean, it's even hard. You can get emotional about it. You can get emotional thinking about what was happening to these women in real life and the characters in front of you. And there are moments there where people are just broken, angry, trying to trying to see the good that can come out of this, trying to see where their place is in life. And I think that's beautiful. And some of the shots, the lighting, the way the light comes up and it frames everybody, and the depth of field, it's just vast hayloft. And I'm sure they are that big because these are farming communities, and that's pretty much where you store everything. Even though I've never seen one that big. I've been in the hayloft. My grandmother had a farm, and a little farm, not a huge stable / barn, but enough to put in like 10 cows and sheep and chicken, and there was a hayloft, but it's usually full of hay. So this was empty. So very theatrical in that sense. It could be made into a great play, I would imagine. And it's a great play for a mostly women, 90% women cast. Intentionally, it has to be women, and it has to be discussed, and it has to be spoken to, and that's it. And that's a rare thing that you see in theater in this way, because there's nothing heightened in a sexual way. There are people who are intelligent in their way. They're from what they could get out of life, and they're super intelligent. They're eloquent. They're able to speak their ideas. So they're not the way probably the men see them as simple people. They're not. They're very evolved. They're very much risk takers. They're willing to sacrifice for the future of their daughters, the future of their children. Maybe they don't want their boys to grow up in the society where women are just considered property, or just there for men's purposes, and they don't want their daughters to fall into a world where they're seen as less than someone else in any way. Some of the shots, so beautiful, like paintings. I know there's color grading here and there's choice, but every film has a choice. Every director, every DP, every set designer, everybody has a choice about everything. So everything in a movie is by choice. It just is by choice. But sometimes the intent, the choice, has so much weight onto the story that it's not simply forgotten. It stands out in a good way. And usually bad choices stand out in a bad way, where you don't understand why something like that was used or done, and you're like, this isn't the best way, to see the image, or it's distracting. But it's not distracting. It pulls you in because it's so beautiful. At the same time, speaking about a topic that is so difficult to really like get through. Just being honest with you, it's not an easy topic I don't think for anyone, or but the way they told the story. You can rewatch this film. You can watch it for the talent. You can watch it for the message. You can watch it for the skills used to make this film. And I think it's one of the best films I've seen in a long time. I'm just gonna read out some crew name as well, because I think it's pretty amazing. The DP cinematographer was Luc Montpellier. I think that's a French name, or Canadian French. Film editing by Christopher Donaldson, Rosalind Callou. Casting, John Buchan, Jason Knight. Great stuff. Production design, Peter Costco. Art design, Andrea Christoph. Set decorations by Friday Myers. I mean, there's just some really, I mean, the hairdressing, the list is huge. The sound was great in this. Like I said, the lighting. There are certain types of movies you look at. There are a lot of movies that, even though they win awards for acting, they're probably DP or director movie. Some are actor movies. This is an all-around movie. It is such a great actor movie, because the actors are allowed to really get into these characters and really express themselves, even with these little touches they do. It tells a big story, or it tells a big part of this bigger story. And then you have the technical aspects of it that I think were done in an amazing way. So it's a film for them too. It's a film for the editor to get these beautiful shots in there, beautiful sequences, and these colors and the grading, and then you have the DP who was able to conceptualize how he was going to bring this story to everybody, and that is also it deserves a lot of credit. It's so well done, so impactful, something you can watch constantly. Maybe not with the kids, but you could watch this with a teenager easily and talk about this. And it's a film that I think should generate discussion, should generate not only discussions of art and creativity and storytelling, but of the topic of how it really happened, with a different outcome. So there is this beautiful outcome that happens here, and there's an outcome that happened in real life, and everything has its own place. It just and even the way they didn't show where it was. The original events were in Bolivia. This was shot probably in the U.S. I think it has like a North Dakota accent, Canadian accent. And there are Mennonite communities in the U.S. They're all over the world, actually. They're ultra conservative. A lot of people don't realize it. They realize how they function or what they do. But they're ultra conservative Christian groups that pretty much want their women to shut up, be barefoot, be pregnant, and cook, and that's it. If not, get another one. And we don't like to admit it in this country that these sort of communities in the Christian world exist, but they do. They do. Like every faith, it has extremists, and this is a glimpse into that extremist community. And you can say, oh, but it's this or that. No, it's extremist when you don't let a segment of your population learn to read and write. That's kind of extremist. So I think that's a good divining, a good line that you shouldn't cross. Let them be educated in that sense. Like I said, these women were not stupid at all. The characters are written really well defined, anchored in place, able to bring a story across, even if they have just very few lines. What they bring to the story matters, and I think that's the most important thing of filmmaking. That everything matters in that film, and kudos to this. Really, really great job. I know it's up for nomination, I think, for Best Adapted Screenplay. I think they won, actually, for that. So I think it's just, yeah, it should have been spoken about more. I think it's people, because of the topic, they don't really talk about it, but it should have been spoken about more. This is probably one of the best films of the year. I think a great year. 2022 was a great year for mental thought films, films that made you think a little bit. And I know we went through a whole period of MCU and superhero films, but I think this is one of the films that made you think, and it's really, really, really beautifully done. Really beautifully done. It choked me up a lot of times. It choked me up. So give it a watch. Definitely give it a watch. This is one of the films that I think you should definitely see. All right. All the best. This is Roland DeRucci, again with Ready Speaker. Share, like, subscribe if you can. If you want to, send me a message. Maybe we can talk about a movie. I can revisit a movie that you have maybe a different opinion about, and we can just sort of like talk through it, or I can say why I really felt that, why I felt the way I felt about them. So think about that. I'll even do a streaming series. Come on, and we can talk about anything. Hell, we'll talk about Mennonites if you want. We can look at the whole structure. I wouldn't even mind that. Okay, all the best. Bye.